morning. So my mother and my grandparents traveled from Puerto Rico to the United States in a pursuit of a better life, something that I am deeply proud of, and my family's story has been one of success. My mom came to the States at the age of 1 with her 7 brothers and sisters. The American dream of hard work and the freedom to pursue economic opportunity has been fulfilled for many American Latinos, and we want a museum that can proudly reflect this point of view and this journey. With that in mind, I am a little concerned with what I've read in the news about the Molina Family Latino Gallery and the exhibits that it produces, which some say depict Hispanics as victims, as army deserters, as traitors, and as people not fully invested in this great country and all it has to offer. I have many constituents back home in New York and in the 4th Congressional District who are of Latin American descent, some of whom fled this country due to violence, political, and economic turmoil inflicted by communist governments and insurgents. Is the National Museum of the American Latino committed to telling the experience Latin Americans faced and their contributions to our nation?
There is no doubt that is our priority. The best way I can explain that to you is that the Molina Gallery really ought to be a testing place, that it should be a series of 8 or 9 or 10 exhibitions that happen before the building is up so that we actually make sure that we've made the mid-course corrections we need to tell the stories we want to do. I really think that if you look at the example of the African American Museum, which really tells both difficult stories and stories of resiliency and hope, you'll find the same thing in the National Museum of the American Latino.
So in the authorization for the National Museum of the American Latino, it's written that the Board of Trustees is responsible for ensuring, and I quote, this is the mission, that the exhibits and programs of the museum reflect the diversity of the political viewpoints held by Latinos of the United States on the events and issues relating to the history of Latinos in the United States of America. Does the Smithsonian take this provision seriously?
It is one of the most important things we do, to find the diversity of opinions and diversity of stories, and I can assure you that museum will do just that.
Okay, and you mentioned that this specific exhibit, I guess, is a test. So as a former museum director yourself, how will you address concerns about political bias in exhibits?
Part of it is by putting together a diverse group of scholars that will help shape what the museum will do. Secondly, I've created a process where we vet exhibitions. Traditionally, we vet exhibitions early in the process, conceptually. What I've done is add a second bounce. It allows us to look more concretely at exhibits, the artifacts you use, the words that are written. So that'll also help us ensure that we're making sure that the museum is telling the story from a nonpartisan point of view.
Okay. Well, I hope that that continues, and I really hope that that is the mission, because I don't believe that exhibits should be used as tests. I think we should vet them properly and make sure that when the Smithsonian, which is an institution, people travel throughout the world to visit, and we shouldn't have exhibits that are test cases. They should be tried and true and vetted so that you are living out the mission of what we're supposed to be doing there.
Let me, if I can correct that, what I mean by test, it's not that we're just trying anything willy-nilly, it's to see how the public engages around certain ways we interpret history. So for me, that was really the key to the success of the African American Museum, to actually take examples over a period of 8 or 9 years and say, here's where we can do this better, here's where we can do this differently, here's where the public engage, here's where we need to teach the public better. So for me, it's really just one of the tools to make sure that that museum will be what we want it to be when it opens.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.